My name is Seth Rye. I'm an engineer, and what we specialize at our company is dealing with water loss and other types of things such as sewer infiltration and inflow that help us preserve water. Every community that you happen to go through or happen to live in, what's one of the major things that they have to have a good water system in order for that community to exist and to thrive and to for people to be able to prosper and just to live. If you're losing, say, half of the water that you produce, there's a financial impact to that. It takes chemicals, it takes electricity, it takes labor, it takes overhead, all to produce every gallon of water that we treat and send out. My education, once I finished high school, I went to the University of Tennessee at Knoxville and got a bachelor's degree in agricultural engineering. And then I stayed there for 2 more years and got a master's in biosystems engineering. And so those are two of the degrees that I probably use most in what I do now. But I think we also need to talk about the other skills like communication skills. A lot of the times what we're doing is we're running these numbers and then we're sizing some component. You've got to be able to communicate the technical part of this as you came up on a set of plans where they can actually build it in the field. The communication also comes into play as an engineer. A lot of times you're tasked with being the technical resource, but you're being asked questions by people who are maybe administrators. I mean, you might be talking to a mayor. A lot of the communication we do are with small town mayors. We might be talking to a board of a utility district, but we need to be able to tell them, not just show it to them on a spreadsheet. We need to be able to tell them why that matters. I'm an engineer, but what we do involves not only design, but it involves a lot of operations, and that's where there's a lot of different talent can be drawn in. Water treatment involves a lot of chemistry. Wastewater treatment involves a lot of biological components. So if some of those things interest a young person, I would really encourage them to go visit their local utility. These opportunities are right in your backyard. You just gotta, you gotta know about them, and you gotta go out and kind of seek those out. There's a lot of good reasons to be in the water industry, and one of those is really just the good quality of people that work in this industry. And it's something that I knew when I had my first job in the water industry, that there were a lot of good people, and I learned a lot of good lessons from the people that were there. And I figured out, hey, this is a really good group. But when I started going out and doing consulting work and visiting with other utilities across this state and even in other states, you just notice that there's a really good caliber of people that work. And just down to earth, it's good work. I think the people that work in it long enough, they realize that what they're doing is very important. It gives you a lot of opportunities to get outside in order to clean these resources up and use them. We've got to kind of get out there. And in what I do, it's really beneficial that I go out and I look and I look at a job before we design it. And really, without that water as a utility and being able to use that, we could lose, entire communities cannot exist, and we cannot grow, and we cannot, get our kids a good education and just survive without that base necessity. So if you're, thinking about going into this business, I think you'll get a lot of good will come from from you putting a value on that, and it really hits home sometimes.